The bright blue sun of Proxima 6 filtered through dense purple foliage as Dr. Alan Carter made his way through the forest. His boots sank slightly into the spongy ground with each step. This was his third week alone on the planet, collecting samples for his xenobiology research. Alan wiped sweat from his brow and checked his oxygen levels. Still good for another 4 hours. He knelt to examine a cluster of pulsing fungal pods when a sound caught his attention. It wasn't the usual clicking of the local insects or the distant calls of flying creatures. This was different. A soft, rhythmic whimpering. "Hello?" Alan called out, then felt foolish. No known sentient species inhabited this region. He activated his scanner and followed the sound deeper into the forest. The whimpering grew louder. Alan pushed aside a curtain of hanging vines and froze. In a small clearing lay a creature unlike any he'd documented on Proxima 6. It was small, perhaps the size of a human child, with iridescent blue-green skin that seemed to shimmer even in the shadows.
Its limbs were slender with 3-fingered hands. Large almond-shaped eyes dominated its face, eyes that now stared at Alan with unmistakable fear. "It's okay," Alan said softly, slowly kneeling. The creature tried to move away but winced, revealing
a deep gash on its leg. Blue fluid, blood, leaked from the wound. Alan set down his equipment and raised his empty hands. "I won't hurt you." The creature watched him warily, its chest rising and falling rapidly. Alan noticed fine gill-like structures on its neck pulsing with each breath. "You're hurt. I can help." He pointed to the wound, then to his medical kit. The alien child, Alan couldn't think of it as anything else, made a series of clicks and whistles. Though he couldn't understand the sounds, the pain in its voice was universal. Alan moved slowly, opening his medical kit where the creature could see. He pulled out a scanner and pointed to it, then to the wound, seeking permission. After a long moment, the child nodded, a surprisingly human gesture. The scanner showed the wound was deep, but had missed major blood vessels. Alan took out antiseptic, spray, and a cellular regenerator. "This might feel cold," he said, narrating his actions in a calm voice. The child flinched at the spray but remained still otherwise. As Alan worked, he noticed intricate patterns beneath the creature's skin. Not quite tattoos, more like natural bioluminescent markings. The child watched him with intelligent eyes. "What happened to you? Where's your family?" Alan asked, not expecting an answer. The child made more clicking sounds, then pointed to the sky with one trembling finger. "You fell? From up there?" Alan looked up, seeing nothing but tree canopy. The regenerator beeped, indicating the first phase of treatment was complete. Alan applied a protective bandage over the wound. "That should help. Can you stand?" The child attempted to rise but wobbled. Alan cautiously offered his arm for support.
After hesitation, the child took it. Together they stood, the child leaning heavily against Alan's side. "I have a research station not far from here. We can treat you properly there." Night would fall soon. Alan knew the forest became dangerous. After dark, with predators that hunted using heat signatures. He had to get the child to safety. "Come with me," he said, gathering his equipment. The child looked back into the forest, making those clicking sounds again, louder and seemingly distressed. "Looking for someone?" Alan asked. "We can come back tomorrow to search." Miles away, at the forest's edge, an adult female of the child species emerged from a hidden craft. She called out in musical tones that echoed through the trees. Her luminescent patterns flashed with increasing urgency as she received no answer. The mother stood tall, activating a device on her wrist. She touched a trace of blue blood on a nearby leaf, then watched as her scanner absorbed the genetic information. Her markings pulsed red with alarm. Her child was wounded and moving away from their meeting point, accompanied by an unknown life form. Alan's research station was a simple dome structure nestled in a small clearing. As they approached, automatic lights flickered on, sensing their presence. The alien child hesitated at the threshold. "It's safe," Alan assured, gesturing inside. "This is where I live." The dome was modest. A central living area with basic kitchen equipment,
surrounded by scientific instruments and sample containers. A small sleeping quarter was partitioned off to one side. Alan helped the child to his examination table. Under proper light, he could see the wound was already responding to treatment, the edges knitting together faster than human tissue would. The child's physiology was remarkable. "I should give you a name," Alan said, preparing a nutrient solution he hoped would be compatible with the child's biology. "I can't keep calling you the child in my head. How about Nyx? It means night in an old Earth language." The child tilted its head, then made a sound almost like the word Nyx, but with a musical quality. "Nyx it is," Alan smiled. He offered the nutrient solution in a clear container. Nyx sniffed it cautiously, then drank slowly. The relief on the child's face told Alan he'd guessed correctly about its dietary needs. While Nyx rested, Alan took readings and made notes. The child's body temperature was higher than a human's, and its heart, or what he assumed was a heart, beat in an unusual triple rhythm. "Where did you come from?" Alan wondered aloud. No reports mentioned sentient life on Proxima 6. He brought out a tablet and pulled up star charts. Nyx immediately perked up, reaching for the device.
Alan handed it over, watching as the child manipulated the screen with surprising dexterity. Nyx zoomed out from their current location, then pointed to a star system Alan didn't recognize. The child then made a series of drawings with its finger. Simple, but clear images of two figures, one small, one larger, being separated by what looked like a jagged line.
"You and your parent?" Alan guessed. "You were separated by what? A ravine? An accident?" Nyx added to the drawing, shapes that looked like animals with sharp teeth. "Predators." Alan nodded. "You were running from them." The child's eyes seemed to dim slightly, as if remembering something frightening. Alan's communication device beeped. He answered to find his expedition leader's face on screen. "Carter, we're moving up your extraction. Atmospheric readings show unusual energy patterns. Heading your way. Could be one of those electrical storms. Ship will be there tomorrow at dawn." "Sir, I need more time. I've discovered something important." "What kind of something?" Alan hesitated, glancing at Nyx. "I'd rather show you in person." After ending the call, Alan turned to find Nyx attempting to stand. The child moved with more confidence now, testing the wounded leg. "Careful," Alan said. "It's healing well, but you should rest." Using the tablet, Alan drew pictures showing his ship coming to take them away. Nyx watched intently, then added to the drawing, the larger figure from before, with arrows showing it coming after them. "Your parent is looking for you?" Alan asked.
"We can wait for them." Nyx made urgent sounds, pointing to the wound, then to the sky. Alan understood after a moment. "You need better medical care than I can provide here."
That night, as Nyx slept, Alan packed his samples and research. He wondered if he was making the right choice, taking Nyx from the planet. But the wound, while improving, might need advanced treatment. Meanwhile, miles away, Zara followed a trail. Only she could see. Energy signatures unique to her kind. The human dwelling appeared in her scanner. Her child was inside, alive but injured. As dawn approached, Zara moved closer, preparing to reclaim what was hers. The extraction ship arrived with the first light of Proxima 6's blue sun. It hovered above the clearing, engines disturbing the purple leaves of nearby trees. Alan gathered his research samples and equipment, placing them in secure containers. Nyx watched from near the dome entrance, eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "Don't be afraid," Alan said, kneeling beside the child. "This ship will take us somewhere to help you." Nyx made a series of clicking sounds, looking back toward the forest. Alan checked the wound on the child's leg. It was healing remarkably, fast but still needed proper care. "Your parent might be looking for you," Alan acknowledged. "But we can't wait. The storm is coming and you need better medical treatment." He helped Nyx into the spare environmental suit he'd modified during the night. It was too big, but it would protect the child during the journey. The helmet was transparent, allowing Alan to see Nyx's expression. The ship's loading ramp descended. Captain Frank Nelson appeared, then stopped short when he saw Nix. "Carter, what is that?" he demanded. "A child," Alan replied simply. "Injured. Needs medical attention beyond what
I can provide here." Frank ran a hand through his gray hair. "This is against protocol."
"The storm is coming," Alan reminded him. "We need to leave now." After a tense moment, Frank nodded. "Get on board, but this is your responsibility." Once inside the ship, Nix pressed against the viewport, watching as the research station grew, smaller below them. The child's fingers traced patterns on the glass, almost like writing.
"We'll come back," Alan promised, not knowing if that was true. The ship broke atmosphere, the blue curve of Proxima 6 filling the viewport. Nix made a mournful sound, touching the glass one last time before turning away. Zara reached the empty
research dome as the human ship disappeared into the clouds. She entered cautiously, her sensory organs detecting traces of her child everywhere. Nix had been here recently and was still alive. She examined the medical supplies the human had used. The treatment had been crude but effective. Perhaps the human meant no harm. But why take her child? Zara touched the examination table where Nix had rested. Her bioreceptors absorbed information. Pain levels reduced, healing accelerated, no signs of distress. The human had helped her child, but Nix was still gone, taken from the planet. Zara returned to her scout ship hidden in the dense forest. It was small but faster than most human vessels. She activated the tracking system, calibrating it to follow
Nix's unique biosignature. The scout ship rose above the trees, its stealth systems making it nearly invisible.
Zara input commands and the computer displayed the human ship's trajectory. They were heading toward something called Gateway Station. As her ship accelerated into space, Zara felt her protective instincts surge. Her luminescent patterns flashed. With determination, she would find her child no matter how far across the stars they traveled. On the human vessel, Communications Officer Rita Patel frowned at her console. "Captain, I'm detecting an unusual signal following our trajectory." Frank leaned over her shoulder. "Storm interference?" "No, sir. It's moving too precisely, almost like a ship." Alan overheard this as he adjusted Nix's environmental controls. The child had fallen asleep, exhausted from the ordeal. "Can you identify it?" Frank asked. "Negative. It's using some kind of stealth."
"Technology I've never seen before." Alan thought of Nix's drawing, the larger figure following them. A cold feeling settled in his stomach. "How long until we reach Gateway Station?" he asked.
18 hours, Frank replied. "Why?" Alan looked at the sleeping child. "I think we might have company when we arrive." Gateway Station hung in space like a giant metal wheel, its spokes connecting the outer ring to the central hub. Hundreds of ships docked along its edge, bringing people and supplies from dozens of planets. Alan watched through the viewport as their ship approached, feeling Nix grip his hand tightly. "It's okay," he said. "This is where we'll find help for you."
The ship docked with a gentle shudder. Alan had spent the journey teaching Nix basic human words and gestures. The child was remarkably intelligent, already understanding simple instructions and even speaking a few words in a musical accent. "We go?" Nix asked, looking up at Alan with those large, expressive eyes. "Yes, but stay close. Some people might
not understand why you're here." Captain Frank led them through the airlock. "I've called ahead to Dr. Lisa Murray. She's the best exobiologist on the station. If anyone can help your friend, it's her." They moved through crowded corridors, drawing curious stares. Alan had dressed Nix in a hooded jacket to hide the child's most obvious alien features, but the slender blue-green fingers and unusual gait still attracted attention. Lisa Murray waited for them in a private medical bay. She was a tall woman with short blonde hair and keen eyes that widened when she saw Nix. "My God," she whispered. "A sentient xenomorph. Where did you find it?" "Him," Alan corrected. "His name is Nix. Found him injured on Proxima 6. Lisa approached slowly, kneeling to Nix's level. "Hello, Nix. I'm Lisa." May I examine your injury? Nix looked to Alan, who nodded encouragingly. The child extended the wounded leg. Lisa scanned, it with advanced medical equipment. Fascinating. The cellular structure is unlike anything in our database. The wound is healing at an accelerated rate, but there's an infection developing that his immune system is struggling with. She prepared medication while explaining to Alan. This should target the infection without harming his unique biology. As Lisa treated Nix, the medical bay door slid open. Security officer Doug Phillips entered, his uniform crisp and his expression stern. Dr. Carter, I need to speak with you about your specimen. Alan bristled. Nix is not a specimen. He's a child who needed medical attention. A child of an unknown alien species that you removed from its home planet without authorization, Doug countered. That violates at least 4 interstellar protocols. Lisa stepped between them. Officer Phillips, I'm treating a patient. This can wait. Station security has received reports of unusual activity following your ship, Doug continued, ignoring her. Power fluctuations began shortly after your arrival. The commander wants answers. Alan thought of the mysterious signal that had tracked them. Could it be Nix's parent? The lights in the medical bay suddenly flickered. Equipment screens flashed with static. Nix made a series of excited clicks and whistles. What's happening? Doug demanded, hand moving to his weapon. Don't, Alan warned. I think the station's alarm system activated. A computerized voice announced. Security breach in docking section 7. Unauthorized entry detected. Doug's communication device beeped. He listened, then looked at Nix with suspicion. Something has infiltrated the station, something not human. Nix stood up, moving to the viewport.
The child placed a hand on the glass, markings beneath his skin pulsing with light. Mama, Nix said the first time Alan had heard this word from him. The station shuddered. More alarms sounded. Doug headed for the door. Lock this room down.
I'm ordering a station-wide security response. After he left, Lisa turned to Alan. What have you brought to my station? Alan joined Nix at the viewport. In the distance, he could see security teams rushing toward a docking bay where emergency lights flashed. Not what, Alan said quietly. Who? I think Nix's mother has arrived.
The lights throughout Gateway Station flickered as security alerts continued to sound. Alan, Lisa, and Nix remained locked in the medical bay, watching the chaos unfold through status updates on the wall screens. Security teams reported an intruder, moving through the station with impossible speed, disabling systems but harming no one. She's looking for Nix, Alan said, watching the child's bioluminescent patterns pulse in rhythm with the station's failing lights. We need to meet her on peaceful terms before someone gets hurt. Lisa checked the security feed. They've set up blockades on all major corridors. They're treating this like an invasion. Nix suddenly straightened, head tilted as if listening to something beyond human hearing. Mama, close, the child whispered. The medical bay door slid open without warning. Doug Phillips stood there with 4 armed security officers. We're moving the alien to a secure containment area, Doug announced. Commander's orders. That's not happening. Alan stepped between them and Nix. His mother is here, and separating them will only make things worse. The intruder has disabled critical systems and injured 2 officers, Doug countered. We're not negotiating. As security moved forward, the lights went completely dark. Emergency power activated seconds later, casting the room in a dim red glow. The door slammed shut, locking Doug and his team outside. A panel in the ceiling moved. From the maintenance shaft above, a tall figure dropped silently into the room. She was clearly of Nix's species, but taller and more imposing. Her skin had deeper blue-green tones with complex patterns that shifted and pulsed. 4 slender arms emerged from her torso, each ending in 3-fingered hands. Her large eyes fixed on Nix with unmistakable emotion. Mama! Nix cried, rushing toward her. Zara embraced her child with all 4 arms, her body glowing with vibrant patterns. She inspected Nix's wound carefully, then looked up at the humans. Her eyes narrowed. Alan slowly raised his empty hands.
We helped him. He was injured. Zara stood to her full height, nearly 7 feet tall. She placed Nix behind her protectively and advanced toward Alan. Lisa stepped forward. "Please, we mean no harm. Alan found your child wounded and alone. He
Brought Nix here for medical treatment." Zara stopped. The patterns on her skin shifted, forming complex symbols that changed rapidly. She placed one hand on the medical scanner and suddenly the device's screen filled with text.
You took my child," the words read. "Why?" Alan approached slowly. Nix was hurt. Predators were chasing him. I found him alone and treated his wound, but he needed better care than I could provide on the planet. Zara studied him, her head tilted, in the same way Nix's had earlier. She touched the scanner again. "My people avoid humans. Your kind hunts differences." Lisa joined the conversation. "Not all of us. Some of us want to learn and understand." Banging came from the sealed door. Doug's voice demanded they open up immediately. Zara's patterns flashed in alarm. The scanner displayed new text. "More will. Come, they will take us, study us, dissect us." "No," Alan insisted. "We won't let that happen." He explained their situation to Zara, how they'd been followed from Proxima 6, how station security now viewed her as a threat, how they needed to establish peaceful communication before violence erupted. Zara considered this, her luminescent pattern slowing to a steady pulse. She touched the scanner again. "My people are called Lumina. We have hidden from humans for generations. Your weapons cannot match our abilities, but we prefer peace." The pounding on the door grew louder. Metal groaned as security began cutting through. "We don't have much time," Lisa said. "I have a friend with access to a research vessel. If we can reach the secondary docking bay, we might escape before they capture you." Zara looked at her child, then back at the humans. Her patterns shifted into what seemed like a question. "Trust us," Alan said simply. "Like I trusted Nix when I found him." After a moment that felt eternal, Zara nodded. The door's cutting stopped as systems throughout the station suddenly reset. "She's giving us a chance," Lisa realized. "Let's not waste it." The temporarily disabled door systems gave them only minutes to escape. Lisa led the way through service corridors rarely used by station personnel. Alan followed close behind with Nix and Zara, the Lumina mother constantly scanning their surroundings with alert eyes. "My friend Jack is docked in Bay 12, Lisa explained, as they hurried through a narrow maintenance shaft. "He captains a research vessel with stealth capabilities. If anyone can get us off this station undetected, it's him." Emergency announcements blared throughout the station. "All personnel, be advised. Dangerous non-human entities have escaped medical containment. Security lockdown in progress." They reached a junction where 4 corridors met. Lisa peered around the corner and quickly pulled back. Security checkpoint ahead. Zara's skin patterns shifted to darker blues. She touched the wall panel and suddenly the station's lights flickered again. The security officers at the checkpoint looked up in confusion as their communication devices failed. "Now," Lisa whispered, and they slipped past during the distraction. Docking Bay 12 was smaller than the main bays, designed for research vessels rather than passenger ships. A sleek ship was docked there, its hull marked with scientific insignia. A man with a weathered face and gray beard waited at the loading ramp. "Lisa," he called out. "Your message sounded urgent, but you didn't mention company." "Jack, this is Alan Carter," Lisa introduced quickly. "And these are Nix and Zara. They need passage off the station immediately." Jack's eyes widened at the sight of the Lumina, but he recovered quickly. "Well, ain't they something special? How much trouble are we in?" "Station security is after them," Alan explained. "They think Zara is a hostile invader." Jack rubbed his beard. "And she isn't?" "She came for her child," Lisa said. "Any parent would do the same." Alarms sounded nearby. Jack nodded toward his ship. "Better get aboard then. Questions can wait until we're safely away." They had just reached the loading ramp when Doug Phillips appeared with a full security team. "Stop right there," he shouted. Weapons raised, Jack stepped forward. "These are my research colleagues, Phillips. Stand down." "Those aliens have compromised station systems and injured personnel," Doug insisted. They're coming with us for containment and study. Nyx shrunk behind Zara, who spread her forearms in a protective stance. Her skin began to glow intensely. Don't. Alan warned everyone. Her species can generate electromagnetic pulses when threatened. In this docking bay, that could be catastrophic. Doug hesitated, then firmed his resolve. Security team, non-lethal restraints only. As the security team advanced, Jack suddenly pulled out a hidden stun weapon. Sorry about this, he said, then fired at the nearest power junction. The resulting overload caused temporary darkness. In the confusion, Alan grabbed Nyx while Lisa guided Zara up the ramp. Jack followed, sealing the ship's hatch behind them. Get to the bridge, Jack shouted, running ahead. They'll override the docking clamps. Any second. The ship's engines were already warming as they reached the control room. Jack slid into the pilot's seat, hands flying over the controls. Docking release denied, the computer announced. Security lockout in effect. Zara moved forward, placing her hands on the control panel. Her bioluminescence connected with the ship's systems, patterns flowing like living data streams. What is she doing? Jack asked, amazed. I think she's talking to the computer, Alan replied. The ship's lights flickered, then steadied. The computer suddenly announced, docking clamps released, launch sequence initiated. Outside, they could see security teams attempting to manually lock the clamps. The ship shuddered as Jack engaged thrusters. Hold on, he called out as they broke free, scraping against the bay doors that were closing too late to trap them. The research vessel shot away from Gateway Station, alarms blaring behind them. Multiple security ships immediately launched in pursuit. They're faster than us, Jack said grimly. We need a plan. Zara's pattern shifted as she communicated through the ship's system. A star chart appeared on the main screen with a course plotted to a distant system. Is that where your people are? Lisa asked. Zara nodded, her patterns forming what looked like hope and fear intermingled. Then that's where we're headed, Jack said, adjusting their course. But first, we need to lose our company. The research vessel raced away from Gateway Station, 5 security ships in close pursuit. In the cramped bridge, Jack worked the controls with practiced hands while Lisa monitored the engines. Alan sat with Nyx and Zara, watching as stars streaked past the viewports. They're gaining on us, Jack announced, his face grim. This research vessel wasn't built for outrunning military-grade ships. Zara's skin pattern shifted rapidly as she touched the navigation console. A star map appeared, highlighting a dense nebula nearby. She wants us to head there, Alan interpreted. The Cygnus Cloud Nebula. Jack shook his head. That's a navigation nightmare. Radiation, dust clouds, magnetic disturbances. Most ships avoid it completely.
Which might make it perfect for hiding, Lisa suggested. A warning alarm sounded as the lead pursuit ship fired a warning shot across their bow. Decision time, Jack said tensely. Trust her, Alan urged. The Lumina must know something we don't. Jack altered their course toward the nebula.
The massive cloud of gas and dust loomed ahead, glowing with eerie blues and purples. As they approached, Zara guided Nyx to a corner of the bridge. The child's markings began to pulse in sync with his mother's. What are they doing? Lisa asked. I think they're communicating, Alan replied. Maybe planning something. The ship shuddered as they entered the nebula's outer boundary. Static filled their communications, and sensors became unreliable. The pursuing ships hesitated, then followed, more cautiously. They're spreading out to box us in, Jack noted. Standard containment strategy. Zara approached the console again, her patterns forming complex sequences. When she touched the controls, the ship's engines seemed to respond differently, becoming quieter yet more efficient. She's reconfiguring our propulsion system, Jack said in amazement, making it compatible with the nebula's energy patterns. Their ship began to move more smoothly through the dangerous clouds while the pursuit vessels struggled with the conditions. 2 turned back, but 3 continued the chase. We're still outnumbered, Lisa noted. Jack studied a reading on his console. There's a dense pocket of ionized gas ahead. If we can reach it, maybe their sensors would lose us completely. As they navigated deeper into the nebula, Zara taught them about her people. Through the ship's computer, she revealed that the Lumina had evolved on a world with constant electromagnetic storms. They could manipulate energy fields naturally, and had developed technology that worked in harmony with these abilities. That's why you can interface directly with our systems, Alan realized. You're translating between organic and digital language. Zara nodded, her patterns forming what Alan now recognized as a smile. A violent impact rocked the ship. Direct. Hit, Jack shouted. Engines at 70%. Another shot grazed their hull. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Jack struggled with the controls as the ship began to drift. They've damaged our navigation system, he reported. I can't. Get us to the ionized pocket now.
Zara and Nix exchanged looks, their patterns communicating silently. Then Zara placed a hand on Jack's shoulder and pointed to the auxiliary craft attached to their ship. The research shuttle? Jack asked. It's only meant for short-range exploration.
Zara's patterns formed a clear message on the screen. It will be enough for 3 to escape. 3? Lisa questioned. But there are 5 of us. Jack understood first. She wants us to launch the shuttle as a decoy while the main ship goes a different direction. Someone would need to pilot it, Alan said quietly. Jack nodded. And someone else would need to stay to repair the navigation systems here. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Jack finally broke it. I'll take the shuttle.
Been flying these skies for 30 years. If anyone can lead those ships on a wild chase, it's me. I'll stay with the main vessel, Lisa volunteered. I know these systems best. I can get navigation back online. Alan started to protest, but
Jack cut him off. You need to go with them, Alan. You're the bridge between our species now. The Lumina trusted you with Nix. That means something. They worked quickly, preparing the shuttle for launch. Before Jack boarded it, he embraced Lisa and shook Alan's hand. Get them home, Jack said. And maybe someday tell our people the truth about the Lumina. The shuttle detached, immediately drawing the attention of the pursuit ships. Jack's voice came through the static one last time. See you in the stars, friends. As the security vessels followed the shuttle deeper into the nebula, Lisa worked frantically to repair their navigation. Zara guided the damaged main ship along, a hidden path that only the Lumina seemed to know existed. Alan watched the shuttle disappear into the cosmic clouds, carrying a brave man on a one-way journey to ensure their escape. The Lumina colony appeared before them as they emerged from the nebula. It wasn't a planet, but a massive space habitat, a collection of interconnected structures that seemed to float among the stars like a living organism. The surfaces pulsed with the same bioluminescent patterns Alan had seen on Zara and Nix, but on a vastly larger scale. Lisa, who had managed to repair their navigation system enough to follow Zara's guidance, stared in wonder. It's beautiful, she whispered, like nothing humans have ever built. Their damaged ship approached slowly. Several smaller vessels moved to intercept them, surrounding them in a protective formation rather than a hostile one. Zara communicated
with her people through the ship's systems, explaining their situation. A docking bay opened in the main structure, bathed in soft blue light. Their ship settled gently inside, systems powering down as artificial gravity took hold. What now? Alan asked, looking at Zara. Her patterns formed words on their screen. You are the first humans to see our home. Some will fear you. Others will welcome you. I will protect you as you protected Nix. When the airlock opened, a group of Lumina waited for them. They varied in size and pattern complexity, but all shared the same basic form as Zara. Their skin colors ranged from deep ocean blue to pale green, patterns shifting in what Alan now recognized as their visual language. Nix ran forward to greet several smaller Lumina, perhaps friends or relatives. The adults approached more cautiously, examining the humans with curious eyes. An elder Lumina with intricate silver patterns stepped forward. When this leader touched their ship's communication panel, words appeared. For generations, we have hidden from humans. Your kind discovered our original homeworld 70 years ago. The first contact ended with our people being captured, studied, and killed. We fled, creating this hidden place among the stars.
Alan and Lisa exchanged troubled glances. This dark history wasn't in any human records they knew. "We didn't know," Lisa said. "Not all humans would have approved of such actions." "Yet you work for the same organization that hunted us," the elder noted. "And now that organization is hunting us too," Alan pointed out. "We sacrificed everything to help bring Nix home." The elder considered this, patterns shifting thoughtfully. Zara moved forward, her patterns engaging in a complex dialogue with the elder. The conversation was silent to human ears but clearly intense. Finally, the elder approached them again. "Zara tells us you treated her child with kindness when you could have treated him as a specimen. She believes you represent a different kind of human than those we first encountered." Over the next few days, Alan and Lisa were shown the wonders of the Lumina colony. They learned that the Lumina lived in perfect harmony with their technology. Their homes, vehicles, and tools were partially organic, responding to their bioelectric signals. The Lumina could share memories and knowledge
Directly through their bioluminescent patterns.
They had no concept of war among themselves, though they had developed defensive capabilities after their encounter with humans. "Your people have so much to teach us," Alan told Zara, as they watched Nix playing with other children, his wound now completely healed. "And perhaps we have things to learn from yours," Zara replied through her patterns. "Not all humans are the same, just as not all Lumina are the same." After a week, the Elder Council reached a decision. Alan and Lisa would be allowed to return to human space with limited knowledge about the Lumina, enough to begin a careful diplomatic relationship, but not enough to threaten the colony's security. A repaired ship was provided, programmed to take them to a neutral starport where they wouldn't immediately be arrested. "What will you tell your people?" Zara asked before they departed. "The truth," Alan replied.
That we've discovered an incredible species who values peace but will protect their own. That we have a chance for understanding if we approach with respect instead of fear," Lisa added. "And we'll tell them about Jack's sacrifice, how one human gave his life to protect your people." Nix approached, offering Alan a small crystal that glowed with shifting patterns like those on Lumina's skin. "Remember," the child said in improved English. 1 year later, on a remote research outpost where Alan and Lisa now worked as independent xenobiologists, a message arrived. When placed near a computer, the crystal Nix had given them activated. Holographic image appeared. Nix, healthier and taller, standing beside Zara. Behind them stood other Lumina, including the Elder with silver patterns. "Friends," Nix spoke clearly. "Time for new beginning. We ready to meet again?" Alan and Lisa looked at each other, hope shining in their eyes. The bridge between two worlds, once nearly destroyed by fear, was finally being rebuilt.